Welcome to Commander Pop Culture, a place to gather magical information with some laughs, might I add. Hello everyone, welcome. This is my Herigast Erupting Nullkite tech. This is a budget deck, it's under $100. I call it Timmy's Trap. And if you know your meta and you have friends that like to play casual, big, dumb creatures, this completely wrecks those lists. Your whole strategy is to steal their big, dumb creatures with your theft cards, and then you sacrifice them to Herigast's ability, which is Emerge.
It's a trap!
If you don't know what Emerge does, it lets you sacrifice a creature, and then you pay the difference in its converted cost towards its converted mana cost. That Emerge ability gets applied to all the creatures in your deck. So it basically says,
anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you.
One of your biggest issues that you're going to have is card advantage. The second issue you're going to be dealing with is dealing with a bunch of small creatures. So that's what this deck is focusing on. It's going to be clearing the board up with the little rinky-dink stuff and keeping your hand full at all times. First off, we have Sandstone Oracle. This lets you draw up to the person with the most cards in their hand. Stalking Vengeance. This is a creature where something should die under your control. You deal damage to a player or planeswalker based on that creature's power. Since you're running a lot of big dumb things and you're stealing big dumb things, you can probably do a lot of damage with it. Captivating Crew. So lets you steal someone's creature for a mana sink. Pretty sick. Firebolt Flutist. On ETB, you steal something. I love these creatures that have the theft effect printed on them, because then they just get used as fodder towards more of your stuff. They're a lot better than your sorceries that you're running, which is why I don't really care about their CMC, because they pay for themselves, if that makes sense. It's like a free spell almost, in a weird way. Goblin Dark Dwellers. This lets you cast a instant or sorcery with converted mana cost 3 less from your graveyard for free, i.e. target your Wheel of Misfortune or your theft spell. Coercive Recruiter. This is another theft creature. Scourge of the Throne. This is one of your finishers. If you attack the person with the most life, you get an additional combat step, and hopefully you close some people's games out with that. Bedlam Reveler. It has cost reduction and it's really expensive CMC wise, so it's good for your Emerge fodder. And then it's a card advantage spell. Bullspine Dragon, another card advantage piece. Zealous Conscripts, another theft creature. Conquering Manticore, another theft creature. Talia Primal Storm. This lets you get unique card advantage in that you exile the top card of each player's library and you could cast them that turn for free. Ox of Agonis. This lets you draw 3, discard your hand. I like this one a lot because it lets you escape, meaning you get to reuse it over and over again. Ensnare the Guilty. This is one of your rubber band cards in dealing with the go wide strategies. You're running a lot of big, expensive cards in this deck, so collecting Evidence X will let you sweep up a lot of your opponent's stuff. Then on the third path, lets you make a token copy of something in your graveyard, and the beauty about that is it doesn't exile it, so you can get to redo it
Again and again and again.
Artisan of Kozilek. Cast trigger that returns something from your graveyard to the battlefield, and it has Annihilator too. Treasure Nabber. In case the Emerge plan doesn't work and people are just killing your commander, you're gonna have to do it the old-fashioned way. So I have a really sweet ramp package. I think there's at least 16 or 17 ramp spells in here. Treasure Nabber lets you
Pour out without permission.
people's artifacts for a turn, and a lot of people can't resist. Fiendish Duo. This doubles damage that be dealt to your opponents. What's unique about this guy is not only are you advancing your game plan and could one-shot people, but if your opponents are attacking each other, it also applies. So your opponents might accidentally kill each other. Like, I've seen people need to attack their partners, you know, they're banding together to deal with the arch enemy, and sometimes they have to hit each other to get their triggers. They might accidentally kill each other if they aren't aware of this in play. Nor are you required to share that information with them. You say it once, and if they forget, they forget. Ryu Say the Falling Star. On death, you deal 5 damage to each creature without flying. You're running a lot of flyers in here, or you're running a lot of stuff that you don't care should they die, or you just straight up have toughness so big that this won't kill them. It's almost one-sided. Dracuseth Maw of the Flames, another rubber band card. On attack, you get to do 4 damage to one thing, 3 damage to 2 different things. Terramount Velis. This is a finisher and gives all your creatures double strike till end of turn. Molten Primordial. This lets you steal a creature from each of your opponents till end of turn. It's great. I didn't run a lot of these effects. I could have put like things like Mob Rule and Insurrection, but I wasn't able to consistently take advantage of everyone's stuff I was stealing. I usually just needed to steal 1 or 2 things at a time, and that was good enough. So I didn't run any of that sorcery-wise, but if it was on a creature, I didn't care because They're just sacrificial fodder, and it's like I'm playing stuff for free. Plus, Furnace Hellkite, this gives attacking creatures that are hitting your opponent's double strike. Again, like Fiendish Duo, this applies to your opponent's creatures when they attack each other. They might forget and accidentally kill their best buddy. Anger, it's a good emerge target because if it's in your graveyard, it gives your entire board haste. Ilharg, this is part of your other plan should the emerge cheating not be working out. You could just go to combat and cheat stuff into play. Goes like the Great Distortion. Card Advantage piece lets you draw back up to your 7 cards. Flare of Loyalties, this is another theft creature that gives something 10/10 stat block, trample, haste, and annihilator 2. It itself has trample and annihilator 2 as well, so it's a little scary. Baleful Dragon, when it deals damage to a player, does that much damage to each creature that player controls. Another sweeper. I'm not going to go over all the theft cards. Your sorcery package, there's at least, I think, 17 or 18 of these theft effects. It's very heavy control themes, and it's very unique in that you're borrowing something for supposedly a turn, but you don't give it back most of the time. Never. Feels great for you, not so much for your opponents. Chain Reaction, board wipe. Physics Mastery kind of acts like a insurrection in that you could overload it, get all these theft cards back, and use it as a finisher that way. Season Spotlight's pretty unique. When your opponents catch on of what you're trying to do, they'll pick letting you draw a card and a treasure every time, so it's a free draw 3. It's an awesome card advantage spell in this deck. Kozilek's Return is really cool. It's a board wipe that happens twice. You deal 2 damage to each creature, and then if you cast an Eldrazi that's 7 or greater, in CMC you deal 5 instead. And it's at instant speed. It's pretty brutal. Your rocks, they're mostly just for ramping. But something I want to talk about is Helm of Awakening. It's a symmetrical effect in that everyone gets cost reduction, but if you're accelerating your Timmy opponents, that means they could play their big dumb creatures sooner. That means you get to steal their stuff sooner. For it being symmetrical, it's not very symmetrical at the very same time. It's probably one of the best applications I've seen of Helm of Awakening, and I'm really excited to play in this deck. Something I want to mention about the Semblance Anvil and the Cloud Key, you have a very nice blend of creatures and sorceries, so whatever you have more of in your hand, just pick that over the other and get some use out of these right off the bat. If you choose creatures, well, then you can cast them the good old-fashioned way. If you choose sorceries, then you can steal stuff easier. Ruby Medallion's pretty exciting to talk about. I've been waiting for these to be within a budget range, and now they are. They got reprinted in Commander Masters, and then again now in Modern Horizons 3. I'm going to probably be playing this in my monocolor decks from here on out. Pretty sweet. Might makes right. This is one of 2 recurring theft cards. This and Captivating Crew are the only 2 that can. This lets you check your pre-combat step and you get to steal something if you have the biggest creature, which should happen pretty consistently. What I like is it does something the turn you play it, so paying 6 mana is no big deal. Bitter Reunion acts as a card advantage spell, and when you want to close out a game, you could alpha strike people by giving all your stuff haste. Sneak Attack, you get to cheat something into play with a red mana, sack it on step, but you just sack it for an emerge cost, and then you get even more value out of this Sneak Attack. Pretty dope. Like, if I was a Sneak Attack, like say a Balefire, I could sack it to a Kozilek, and then I would only have to invest 3 mana.
Wow, that sounds like a really good deal.
To do all these very expensive shenanigans. That's 15 mana with a 3 mana investment. Pretty spectacular. That brings us to the end of this deck tech. I hope you liked it. I've built 3 decks so far very recently. I plan on doing 8 in total. If you go to my community tab on my YouTube channel, you could see what's on the docket and take a vote what you want to see me play in whatever order. But if you're interested in any of those commanders, I'm going to be doing a tech for all of them, and I'm going to be playing them all in Moto, testing the metal on there. I hope you all had a great time and learned a lot. Take care now. Bye.